What is going on, Colts Nation? Here's Jamal Lawrence and I'm Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast.
Yo,
Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman Jr. Second season in his career with over 1,000 receiving yards, mostly without Anthony Richardson throwing to him this season. Over 100 receptions as well this season. Michael Pittman, he's building up his resume with the Indianapolis Colts over the past 4 seasons. Ballard, we all know he likes to pay his most valued players, right? As Jonathan Taylor received a 3-year, $42 million extension in 2023. Everyone remembers that. So it begs the question, what is the future of Michael Pittman Jr.? Jamal, talk your talk.
Man. All right. Well, so before we get started, Eric, I mean, you honestly, you kind of just summed up what I'm going to talk about right there in a nutshell. So I'm going to just give a small little breakdown of that. But like you said, man, could the Colts let MPJ slip out of their fingers? To be crystal clear with everybody listening right now, I think it's very clear the Colts organization doesn't want to lose him. Majority of Colts fans, I would think, don't want to lose him either. Some may not. You know, it's coming off of a career reception and yards year, like you mentioned, 109 receptions, 1,000
Hey, Jamal,
yards. Yeah,
I got a question. Do you think we could get a career day for likes, subscribes, and comments on this video? Colts
That's
Nation,
a great question.
Hey, we would appreciate it. You know how the YouTube algorithm works. Get those likes pumping, get those comments flowing, and then we have a bigger community. We can talk with more Colts fans. That's what I like, Jamal. I don't know about you. Sorry to interrupt. I just
no. You're good. You're good. I appreciate you throwing that out because we need all these career numbers. Like you said, get some career numbers out there for us so we can keep pumping out this energy to y'all. What I was going to say, though, productivity overall, solid for us this year. And, of course, what he's done with a hodgepodge of quarterbacks in the backfield over the past couple of years during his Colts tenure. Not to mention, guys, I mean, we've all seen the posts he put on TikTok showing his daily offseason farm chores. Let's get real. Do you think that MPJ wants to pack up all those animals and move them potentially across country? Don't think so. So that begs the question, Eric. How much will he want, and will he get it here? That's going to be the tough question.
You think he leaves? You think he walks? I'm 99% sure Michael Pittman Jr. is playing in a Colts jersey.
Oh, no, did you hear what I said? I said, no. I said, how much will he want and will he get it here is what I said. I didn't say leave. I said he has all these animals.
Will he get it here?
He doesn't want to pack it up.
You got to get it somewhere else. He got to get that bag somewhere else.
It depends on what he wants.
That's what you said. That's what I inferred.
That's what you inferred. That's not what you heard. That's what you inferred. As the most productive, receiver on the team, I'm sure he's expecting to get his bag. But he's not on par with the most top tier receivers, so I don't expect him to get a max contract. Let's be clear about that.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Contract. Go ahead.
Colts cap space. According to over a cap, we got about 59 million right now. We have plenty of money to pay the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Pittman got what do you say his market value is right now?
I don't know.
I'm looking at about 22 million to 24 million.
I was gonna say most I would want to do is 20 hard cash. The rest needs to be incentives. If we're gonna do 23, 24, I need a couple million.
Yo, he walking if he only getting 20, man.
He can get 23 million with incentives. That can happen.
Franchise tag is 21.6 right now.
Oh, did the official numbers come out? When I looked the other day, I thought it was like around 20 million, but that's good. All right, so 21.
It's projected
fine.
To be at about 21.6 million a year.
Let's take that then. So fine. Let's give him
tag
20. So that's Ballard, like he said it during his press conference. That is a tool. That's a tool. Now keep in mind the last time the Colts franchise tagged anyone was Pat McAfee back in 2013, I believe it was. That's the last player in Colts franchise who's been tagged. Yeah. So they it's something that they don't use. The Colts usually either let people walk or they pay them. And historically, they pay people. But with that same thing, we gotta wait. We got to think about both sides. We're talking about when we talk about paying a lot of money. We look at the Shaq Leonard or Darius Leonard for that matter, who was at the top tier of his game when he got that bread. We look at a JT who even had an injury for us last year. The year before that, he was the rushing king. So there are some levels to why they got paid the amount of money they did because they were performing at tier peak level. So that's why I'm saying that I agree with you when I say that 21 million I'm okay with. But if we're going to start pushing to 23, 24 million, I want some incentives in there personally, just because, I mean, we got to see more. We got to see a lot of production value out of that to be paying somebody $24 million. I'm not entirely sure what other receivers are making 24K or 24 million right now. You may have them on your list, or but you can go ahead and rattle them off if you have any. I don't know. I did not look that up.
So if let's say he gets paid in the 22 to 24 million range, we're talking range like guys like Terry McLaurin. He's getting
Okay.
paid 22.7 million. DK Metcalf 24 million. Is he on par with those guys?
So that's where I think that's where the real conversation comes in, because you have to ask people: would you, if you could right now pick up DK Metcalf or keep MPJ, what you're gonna do? I think that's a conversation that a lot of people will have to have a real heart to heart with. I don't know who I would do at this point. You know, I have to think about that for a little bit. Drop some comments below and tell us what you think, or even a
But
Scary Terry. We've seen a lot of people talk about wanting Scary Terry back home, back in Indianapolis.
yeah, but that's not even a question because they're not going to leave their teams right now. I mean, Terry McLaurin,
Sure,
I don't think they trade him right now. DK Metcalf, he's a Seahawk.
sure,
That's not changing right now. So
sure.
that's not even a relevant question because we can't get those guys. It's not either or. It's can we get Michael Pittman Jr.
Right.
or do we let him walk? And we already talked about the franchise tag. If they're willing to just tag him for 21.6 million a year, Michael Pittman already said it'd be cool to get franchise tag. It's not what he ideally,
Right.
but then he said basically, I'm getting paid with the top 5 guys, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, tag everyone. I don't know if everyone knows what an NFL franchise tag is, but it's a designation that allows NFL teams to select one player set to be an unrestricted free agent and guarantees another year under contract if certain conditions are met. So there's an exclusive and a non-exclusive, but really it's an average of those 5 salaries. Average of the top 5 salaries at a player's position. It can be of the top 5 cap hits if they do a non-exclusive tag. But anyway, it's about the top 5 players essentially. So Michael Pittman, we get an average of those guys, and 21.6 million. That's more than he's making now.
Oh, for sure.
Um, you know, I just don't see. I don't know. The offense is it gets run through Michael Pittman. Losing him would be a significant loss, and people will say, "I'll just draft another wide receiver." It doesn't always pan out like that.
Sure.
Rookie wide receivers in general, just drafted them. They don't just always pan out. So you already have an established product. I mean, Jamal, like we got to keep him, right? I mean, he has to be a Colt in
Yeah.
the near future, in the future, like right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was gonna say. I don't see him leaving. You know, I think that they will come to a mutual agreement. Like I said, I don't think he gets his top tier money. But however, he will get a solid payday, you know, for what he's gonna do for the Indianapolis Colts. I think he will get a solid payday. And I don't think the Colts would be smart in one bit to let him walk, especially when you have a bona fide receiver like him in the room. Do I think you should continue to add receivers? Sure, but you shouldn't let someone walk without having, and there's just no reason to let someone like him walk.
It's crazy. So let's talk about the wide receiver room, like because people are like, we have bigger needs than that. We should target other because like we found Josh Downs last year in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
So do we really need to spend a 1st or 2nd round pick? There's a lot of good receivers this year.
Mm-hmm.
This wide receiver class looks better than last year. Arguably, I would say it is already. Just because I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is right there, Malik Neighbors,
Right.
There's a lot. There's a lot of good guys. So I'm interested to see how many receivers go off the board in the 1st round. But
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman already said he's a smart guy. He's doing his due diligence. He's interested in testing the market. What receiver wouldn't coming off his best season of his career? He also said he wants to get used more, or he wished he got used more in the vertical downfield threat, which is something that Michael Pittman doesn't get used at all. At least, being in Indianapolis, he hasn't. But like I said earlier, he thrives in this offense. I feel like he's underrated. People don't talk about him like other receivers. We just posted some numbers with Pittman and Devontae Adams. But the ultimate question comes, it really becomes, is he a number 1 receiver on this team?
You can go ahead and answer that.
Oh, you scared?
Oh, I'll answer first. No, I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't know if you had
Oh, no. I was just gonna
yeah.
say that opinion varies depending
Yeah.
on who you talk to.
Yeah.
You look at his numbers, you look at what he does for this team. He's the wide receiver 1 on the Indianapolis Colts.
Absolutely.
Now, would he
Yeah.
be on the Cincinnati Bengals or the Las Vegas? I don't know.
He'd be a 2 at best.
We haven't seen him in that environment. I'm just saying. Y'all keep saying he's not a true number 1, but like the man is the man is great, and y'all gonna put some respect on Michael Pittman.
I've never not put respect on his name, but what I will tell you is this: when you think about your wide receiver 1s and across the board for I don't even have the numbers pulled up, but these are, people are saying, oh, MPJ, he got 1,000 yards this season, whatever the case is, whatever, blah blah blah. That's with over 100 receptions. He's averaging 10 yards per reception. These other wide receiver 1s, the Hills, the Chases, the Jeffersons, you name any one, the Amon-Ra St. Brown, these guys are all getting 13, 14 per reception. Now, again, like you said, will Michael Pittman Jr. be different with Richardson in the backfield where he actually has an opportunity to go for the deep ball threat? I think so, but I also don't know how much the offense would change with, as far as route running goes for him, because he's been bona fide as this, 10-yard receiver year over year, 10, 12-yard receiver year over year. So why change it now all of a sudden? Why not? Why change it now? If my opinion is this, and I've said this a bunch of times before, is Mike Pittman Jr. number 1 on the Colts? Absolutely. Is he number 2 on majority of other teams? Probably not. Or number 1 on other teams? Probably not. But if the Colts are smart, and I know, like you talked about earlier, Eric, you said, people are saying that the Colts don't need to attack the wide receiver room. Well, for one, there's no competition in this Colts wide receiver room. We have 3 receivers, and that's it. Let's be crystal clear about that. We have Pittman, Downs, and Pierce. That's it.
There's Doolin's coming back.
That we have Pittman's, Downs, and Pierce. There's no competition. So if we go and draft somebody else, we go and draft another receiver in the draft out of this stacked draft, you have an opportunity to get yourself what can be considered a number 1 deep threat force, or just a number 1, just a number 1 in general. I think that Michael Pittman, like I said, deserves his bread. Pay him. Even if we were to go get someone out of the draft, who a rookie receiver, obviously, who would have to pay next to nothing because there's on the rookie contract. Pittman's coming off, a 4-year, $8 million deal? Same deal. Same thing you're going to get for a rookie receiver. Let them go ahead and thrive and build themselves as a number 1 receiver, and then go from there.
The disrespect on Ashton Doolin's name.
No, I'm not disrespect. How many snaps did Ashton Doolin have last year?
He was hurt.
Exactly. How many snaps did Ashton Doolin have the year before that?
I don't know that it's
not a lot. So my point goes is we have 3 wide receivers on the Colts, and we have 17 tight ends. We have Pittman, Downs, and Pierce. There's 0 competition. Anybody who got brought up from the practice squad during the season got dropped right back down to the practice squad. There's been no rotation throughout there.
I think so. When I think of wide receiver 1s, like if I had to compare Michael Pittman, like an NFL comp, like his great comparison, I kind of, and I'm not saying he's this level, but like his potential would be someone like a Larry Fitzgerald, kind of that possession receiver, great hands, tough, he wasn't like a super downfield threat, but he was the guy that I'm going to get you these 10 yards no matter what. You throw it up to me. Yeah, I'm going to get it to you. That's how I compare him.
Right.
I know his yards per reception is not great. He gets utilized a little differently. I think that's what I was kind of talking about earlier. Michael Pittman said he would like to get used more as a vertical downfield threat.
For sure.
Now, is he capable of flourishing in that type of role? I don't know yet. But that's something to be seen. But what, how he's being utilized now, it works for the Colts offense. And it would be a detriment to this team to not get him signed to what he needs to be signed at.
And that's kind of why I was saying that, even though he wants to be utilized like that, why would Steichen change what's worked for this long? You know what I mean? Why cater to that? need if it doesn't need to be fixed. I mean, it can be fixed with someone else. You can still have Pittman be that. I think so. Yeah.
Replacing Pittman?
No. Yeah, replace Pittman. No, he can. So they can get the deep ball. They can go down and get the end. Pittman stays in his same role where he's getting these chunk 10-yard plays. Why would you want to risk bringing in someone new to that when you know you have a bona fide player who can do that? When you can bring in someone new to risk having that deep threat, that 4-3 speed, that who's another dominant receiver who can command a safety to step down on them or have a corner shadow them rather than have MPJ take the bulk of that.
I mean, I won't argue with that. I will say that Pittman, like, we've seen some of the catches he's made in his career on these 20+ yard passes when he does get a chance to hit those. And you remember that catch last season where he went over 2 defenders. They smushed his helmet in and he still brung that thing down. There was another one, I think it was 2 years ago. It was during the Wentz era where I think it was the Ravens game. He went up and brought that thing down, like looked like pass interference on him too. He's made some plays downfield, so he just doesn't get utilized like that. And I'm hoping, when Richardson stays healthy, and I say when, not if, when Richardson stays healthy, this will be more of an explosive offense and Pittman will get used somewhat more that way. That would be the goal. But the future of Michael Pittman, I'm hoping, because the wide receiver market, it's just getting, people pay wide receivers and it's for a reason now. So we have one that works, that is great in the Colts scheme, offensive scheme. We got to find a way to pay this guy. Maybe we tag him this year and then they work out a long-term deal. Maybe they work out a long-term deal now, but they got to figure something out.
Yeah, I really think that they'll go the route of just paying him this year. I think they will.
They have, I think, and don't quote me on this, I think they have till March to franchise tag him. I
think it's like the last week of February, first week of March, something like that. Yeah.
So we'll know a little bit more in a month whether they do get a deal done or not. But hey, man, I need Michael. Look, I need it personally because I have a Michael Pittman Jr. jersey. I'm not trying to give it like
tradesies.
Yeah, it's not about the go in a frame. Like I need to wear that thing.
Oh no, yeah, they'll get the job done. Like I said, Ballard and those guys, they're not gonna let him walk. Pittman enjoys being here. He knows that he's the guy here. Why would I want to take, again, unless you're just chasing money, why would I want to potentially chase more money to have a lesser role on another squad? Is the way I would look at it as well if I'm him at some point. You know what I mean? Because if you were to go, and I'm not saying that he's gonna get picked up by the Bengals, but let's just imagine you go to somewhere like the Bengals, Jamar Chase is going to be getting those targets. Pittman's going to get those T. Higgins targets. You know what I mean? So it's like, would you be willing for a couple extra dollars to like cut down your productivity rate? I mean, 20-30% probably, against someone like that. I don't know. That's something to think about too, but
I'm going to get my bag if it's $5 million more.
Hey, listen, money talks.
Tyreek Hill left Patrick Mahomes to go get that bag.
Yeah, and
live in Miami.
But everybody knows Tyreek Hill's gonna be number one. If Tyreek came to Indianapolis, Pittman's production would have got cut down because he would have been number one. But nah, yeah, I know. I chase the money too. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. I'll chase the money.
Yeah.
Why not?
I
made it to the highest level. But that's all I got.
Yeah. If you made it far, if you made it this far, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts. Very long episode. A lot to talk about with Michael Pittman, but I think the overall opinion here at the Colts cast is we would like to see him back. That should be one of the goals of the Colts this season. I would love to see him back and get a deal done. If he gets tagged, that's one thing, but get a long-term deal done. You start setting the stones up, the stepping stones for us to build our playoff contention. Hey, that's all I'm gonna say because we got next up, and 2024 is going to be amazing. And we got a lot more draft talk to talk about too. We got it's the off season for the Colts, but there's a lot to still talk about for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm excited.
No doubt.
Hey, that's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content.
Keep it easy.